Hello everyone, once again to Packs&Recreation. So today we are repeating an oldie but goodie. We're opening a couple of pre-release packs from Phyrexia, All Will Be One. You may be asking, hey, why why keep opening pre-releases if the release is already far gone? Excellent question. I don't have a good answer for that. I just like the format a lot. So basically what we do with this, which by the way, in case you are new, these are the poppables from this, a couple of tokens or counters, sorry, and two dividers, mini dividers. I never quite get the point of these mini dividers. I would prefer a single big one, I guess, but hey, what do I know? So what do we gain from this? I actually like this for two reasons. First, pre-releases are actually a good mix bag. You have a die and you have a bunch of other stuff. But if you are like me and other divider, and you like this game and you like playing it, the one big reason to do this is to play with your friends. Now, this is not the ideal way of doing it because, I mean, you don't open the pre-release and then you play. Amazing map. But you can do it. How? Well, 6 booster packs. Basically what I do is I open them for you guys so that you see what's up, what are we pulling. But then I put the cards back in the box and that's the pre-release. I invite a couple of friends and we just play. And I mean, they don't get to open the boosters, but the logic and the quote magic is the same, right? You just build a deck with whatever you have, which I'm just noticing by opening this that there is no Magic Arena or Arena card here, which is weird because normally it will be included, but there isn't one. Shame, because I wanted to share that code. Anyone that grabs it is theirs. Oh, it's here. Oh, that's right. They changed it in this pre-release. In the others, it was a freeform card. Here is inside the booster. I think. I don't remember this being this way, but okay, whatever. So help yourself to the code. Actually, you can only use one per Magic Arena account, apparently. So, and this is the promo. Oh, nice. The Soulless Jailer. Artifact creature, Phyrexian Golem. Permanent cards in graveyards can enter the battlefield. Players can cast non-creature spells from graveyards or exile. Lock the door and eat the key. Vran Executioner Thane. Very Dark Soul-ish character. And as usual, we may have changed the background, but the lightning is still a thing that work in progress. I mean, I can remove it. It's still the same. So like, this is the global lightning that's doing this. I guess I will put it here. So booster number 1. Let's go. These are draft boosters, by the way. What does a draft booster contain? Well, a bunch of cards and optimized for drafting, which is the only sensible way or the only sensible reason for you to be opening packs. Otherwise, just, I guess, buy the singles. So you can see that there is a lot of commons and uncommons. The idea here is that you play the game. Actually, I'm gonna put this here. I need the space. Maybe like this. And the white. One for every color. Nice. Now, Copper Long Legs. Thirsting Roots. Oh, nice. And Sinew Dancer, I have to admit that when we started opening packs, I loved this card because of the visuals. The effect is okay. Now I am kind of sick of it. I guess that's the problem with repetition. Once is cool, twice is okay. From that point on, not so much. Icospeed Basilisk. This is a tricky card, very good card. I wouldn't say like the price, the cost ratio is optimal, but because it has Death Touch and it's a 1/3 with Toxic 1, it's a pain in the ass, basically. Incubation Sac. Let me just move this here. Yeah, we need to figure out a way to not have this, but whatever. I mean, these are the background cards. So, Transplant Theorist. For some reason, I read Transplant Terrorist, which, I mean, being Phyrexia, I guess is kind of the same. Rebel Salvo. Nice. I don't think I have seen this one so far. And the mythic in this booster is Izuri or Ezuri, Stalker of Spheres in Phyrexian art style. Very, very nice. I love it. The card is okay. It's not like the craziest, wildest card, the Phyrexian lands, and a Phyrexian Might. So booster number 1, not bad. Again, these are draft. So this is like NVIDIA. This is the way it's meant to be played. This is not necessarily for pulling crazy stuff. As you can see, there is one rare and everything else is normal, right? Gitaxian Raptor. Fleshless Gladiator, love this card. The art, the effect is okay. Hexgold Slash, this is also a card that I like a lot. Incisor Glider. Lattice Blade Mantis, or Lattice Blade Mantis. I don't know how you will pronounce this. Escaped Experiment. Loving it. Everyone running from it. One morning, the test subject decided to perform trials on the scientists. Poetic Justice. Indoctrination Attendant. Whisper of the Dross. Gitaxian Anatomist. This has to do with the schools and the layers on New Phyrexia. You can see that the white is more like religious, more like pure in terms of visuals and like philosophy, and they have angels and all that. And blue is more like mad scientist work, like experimenting on people or anything really, and just trying to change them. While black is more of a cult-like style, right? Like look at this. Tell me this doesn't remind you of anything. They wish to become vital parts of the Dross Pits, which we got the card, the Whispers of the Dross. Azog granted their request. I would like to know how they come up with those names. Ovica, Enigma Goliath. I have seen the Phyrexia art of this card and it's pretty crazy. Legendary creature, Phyrexian Nightmare, flying. War 3, pay 3 life. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create X 1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens, where X is the mana value of that spell. They can haste until the end of turn. For 5, 1 blue and 1 red, a 6/6. Kind of okay. We'll make a nice commander, I will say, to spam a bunch of goblins. Full art land and a ugly rebel. I'm sorry, I am that type of person that in Star Wars, I prefer the rebels than the Empire. So here is the same. I prefer the rebels than the Phyrexians. Ironically, same as the Star Wars, the Empire is all pretty and everything is polished and clean, and the rebels are just everything is made out of junk and stuff like that. I get it. This is the feel that we're going for. Like rebels are like ugly, and the one hope is the hex gold and using hex gold for everything, and the Mirans, which apparently is a term for the people of Mirrodin, are not, the prettiest of people. They buy shot much, but and I get it. It's like you are not supposed to root for the good card, by the way. You're not supposed to root for the bad guys. And that's why they are so attractive, like their visuals, their philosophy, everything. But man, complete devotion. Evolving adaptive. Evolving adaptive enters the battlefield with an oil counter on it. The oil mechanic is very nice. I feel it thematically, it kind of steps on toxic a little bit, because technically the oil is what's toxic, but you have an oil counter, so that's a different mechanic. I mean, I know that's for gameplay's sake that they do it that way. Awaken the Sleeper. Nice. But in terms of lore, it feels kind of redundant, too, in my humble opinion. Razorverge Thicket. Razorverge Thicket enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. So this is a quick start land. And another rare, in this case, Blade of Shared Souls. Nice. This is not the Blade of something and something, which is the artifact that everyone wants, but this is a very nice one as well for 2 and 1 blue. It has 4 Mirrodin, which is a nice mechanic thematically. When this equipment enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token, so you automatically spawn this to carry this. Whenever a blade of Shared Souls becomes attached to a creature, for as long as Blade of Shared Souls remains attached to it, you may have that creature become a copy of another target creature you control. It costs 2 to equip. Nice, very nice. A mountain and useless cardboard, which, I'm gonna be honest here, I actually found a use for this, which I think is the use that most people give it, which is as I will say separator, which is as a divider. So I just cut them and they work as vertical dividers very well. One of these days I will show you guys my setup to store all these cards in a nice and clean way. Cruel Remark. Barbed Butterfist. See, I like the fact that it's like, okay, the good guys are not so many and not that much, but we have a couple of them, and most of the good guys, you can actually only see them on the equipment cards, which are basically creature cards as well, because they create a creature at the same time. Gold Warden's Helm. My mother wore this into battle against the first Phyrexians. Now I wear it in her honor. Nice. Also see for Mirrodin. It's nice to see that, like, normally Wizards makes an effort so that there is no obvious color that is like, oh, this color are the good guys, this color is the bad guys. That's why they changed black. Black was supposed to be the bad guys, and actually the Phyrexians at the beginning, the original Phyrexians, were 100% black, and they changed it along the way. So black no longer is evil, it's more ambition, and you can have good ambition and bad ambition. That's what allows us to have Liliana of the Veil, or Liliana Vess, because she is not bad, literally bad. Nowadays she's good, technically. Well, she's more like ambiguous, I will say. But that gives more flexibility to all colors. I mean, Elish Norn, who is objectively bad, is a white creature. So white can be bad as well. And so there is no obvious good or bad guys. And that's nice. So looking at that logic, depending on the set, one thing that you can see is that sometimes Wizards attaches, because of the set or the story that they want to tell, they attach some colors to some things. For example, white here is obviously the color of the bad guys because of Elish Norn, and you have this type of thing, right? So, however, hey guys, we're just talking about the sword. Great. Nice, amazing. I never had any of the other swords of X and Y, so I'm very happy that I finally have a sword of X and Y. In this case, the sword of Forge and Frontier. Nice. Artifact equipment, cost 3. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from red and from green. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. You may play an additional land this turn. Equip 2. Nice. I was just saying, I never got a sword. Oh man. Nice pull. And a Plains and a Phyrexian Might. So in this case, what we have is that, well, you have white is obviously the color of Elishnorn. And she's bad. And I mean, visually, her other color is red, but that doesn't affect much of her skill set. I mean, she's not red in terms of gameplay. See the whole equipment thing with the weapons, but there is most of the red cards. If you look at them, and we can do that quick exercise in a second, you see that they are mostly the rebellion, and it makes sense. Red, the color of rebellion, and the good guys being red and rash, and everything is like now or never, and that type of thing. And some other red cards that are quote neutral are like this, are just sorceries and spells. They're like, it's not creatures per se. However, there is one card that I find very interesting that is in red. I mean, the effect makes sense that it's a red card, but it's called All Will Be One. So the same name as the set. And it is a red card. I don't remember exactly what it does. I have it here somewhere. But I guess that's the only way to have a red thing with Elishnorn on it. Gleeful Demolition. This is a very good card and a pain in the ass if you play a lot. This set, like a lot of people, because it tries an artifact, which you have a lot of them in this set, and if you control the artifact, create 3/1/1 Phyrexian creature tokens. So sometimes you have artifacts that are like, destroy, and then you get this or that. Evolve the Spinoderm. 2 and 2 green, creature of Phyrexian Beast. Evolve the Spinoderm enters the battlefield with 4 oil counters on it. Evolve the Spinoderm has trample as long as it has 2 or fewer oil counters on it. Otherwise, it has hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from Evolve Spinoderm, or Spinoderm, I guess. Then, if it has no oil counters on it, sacrifice it. So 5/5, good effect for 2 and 2 green, but is a short duration card. And a Cephalopod Sentry in foil. Nice. Very colorful. Flying Cephalopod Sentry power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. Talking about artifacts. A forest. And a cat. This is one of the tokens that I don't see a lot. I guess that they distribute the tokens based on what the other cards are more likely to do, and there are not a lot of cards that say create a cat. I think there are like 1 or 2 maybe. Axiom Engraver. Duelist of the Deep Faith. There are some cards like this one that I am sure I have seen it. I am sure we pulled it before, but I don't think I have. I mean, I guess I did because of the mirror thing. I remember commenting on the poor guy, but yeah. Predation Steward. Vivi Surgeon's Insight. Gulping Scrap Trap. Try saying that 3 times out loud. Prophetic Prism. Another one that has a nice sound to it. When Prophetic Prism enters the battlefield, draw a card. 1 and tap it, add 1 mana of any color. The 5 suns may have dimmed, but their light still guides us. By Thron. or Thrun, I guess. Crawling Chorus, the most underrated card in this set. This thing is weirdly powerful. I mean, it's not like super duper, it's not like the craziest card ever, but it just works. Like, it costs 1, it's a 1/1, it has Toxic 1, and then when it dies, it creates a Phyrexian Might. Like, it's too powerful for being a... Well, now some people will be like, no, actually, it's not that powerful, etc. But I don't know, like in normal games, you just start... You actually have 2 creatures, and if they try to block you, which they will want to because it has Toxic 1, it creates another thing with Toxic 1. The only disadvantage of the other thing is that it doesn't block. So there is that. It's a very red thing to be. Atmosphere Surgeon. Nice. Looks like a Mass Effect character. Slaughter Singer. After giving into the thrill of the hunt, he could never again return to the quiet of the Basilica. Magmatic Sprinter. Very nice. At the beginning of your end step, return Magmatic Sprinter to its owner hand unless you remove 12 counters from it. Okay, this is kind of expensive, but it's I can see it being used as an oil counter generator because it has haste, so you can attack with it, and when it enters, you put 12 counters on anything. It can be itself if you want to keep it, but if not, it just comes back, so you can just keep putting oil counters on something else. It's not the cheapest thing, but and it's Phyrexian red, which Bloated Contaminator. 2 and 1 green creature, Phyrexian Beast. Trample, Toxic 1. Whenever Bloated Contaminator deals combat damage to a player, proliferate. Nice. And a foil Indoctrination Attendant, which we got already. Didn't look as nice as this one, but a Phyrexian Swamp and a Phyrexian Might, and that's release number 1. So let's move to release number 2. So same here, Phyrexian text, which I am yet to still go to see what this means. I can try to translate it based on what I saw from the heuristic studies video. So, you know the drill. Oh, black and purple light, nice. This is the first one that I have on with this color combination. I think we opened pretty much all colors. I think I have a red one. These are the white ones. I guess I'm missing a blue one. And if we are lucky enough, there is the Phyrexian die. But I don't feel lucky. I don't think that's going to pop anytime soon. I saw a video from a guy on YouTube that gave a strategy so that you can always tell if you will get the Phyrexian die or not, which I like a lot. Wait. Arena code, help yourself. But it requires... Oh, nice. Capricious Hellraiser. Creature, Phyrexian Dragon. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you have 9 or more cards in your graveyard. It costs 3 and 3 black. 3 red, sorry. Flying, when Capricious Hellraiser enters the battlefield, exile 3 cards at random from your graveyard. Choose a non-creature, non-land card from among them and copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Oh, nice. Apparently, there is a serial number in the box, a Wizard's product code that tells you if the box has a Phyrexian die on it or not. But for that, you need to actually shuffle the box of boxes, and either the store or whatever place it is that you buy your stuff from needs to allow you to do that if they haven't done it already, because money moves the world. So They can already just open it for themselves. Which, it's not great, but it is what we have. I just like it a lot. I think that it could be a standard thing that die, or maybe come with the bundles or with the complete bundle, because the complete bundle doesn't have a die. But it's very weird this timeline that we're living in, because I just see that Wizards makes a point out of putting special things on every single product, or limited things, so that it, quote, forces you to buy it to a certain degree. I mean, no one forces you to buy anything, but it's, if you want all the cards or something, and if it's something that appears not very commonly, the only way you have is to buy it online as a single, or just buying the die. But the problem is that if it appears only in one product that no one buys, it means that the people that has it is because either they want that product, which will be weird because normally those are the products that no one wants, or because they bought it specifically to resell it. So it will have a very high markup price. Veil of Assimilation. Hear only harmony, see only glory, speak only truth. Atraxa, which is the auntie of machines. And Jor Kadin, First World Warden. 1 red and 1 white, legendary creature, human rebel. Trample. Whenever Jor Kadin, First World Warden attacks, it gets +X/+X until the end of turn, where X is the number of equipped creatures you control. Then, if Jor Kadin's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. So this is a lot of synergy with equipment cards, that's why it's red and white. And a full out land. And a legendary artifact creature token, the Hollow Sentinel, Phyrexia Golem. Nice. But this is nothing special. I just treat it special because it's nice. On the other side, you have a Phyrexia Golem. But this guy that looks like Spawn or something. Nice. Next. Glistener Seer, or Seer, I guess, and Cutthroat Centurion. That I can never look. I mean, I always look at this card and I always think this is something from the game Brutal Legend. I can't get over it. I mean, and that axe is like a guitar axe. I can't get over it. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Chimney Rabble. They are violent, headstrong, and wildly unpredictable. It should be amusing to see how Norn's vaunted tactics try to cope with them. Urabrask. Phyrexian Goblin Warrior. Vanish into Eternity. My poor Elspeth can never catch a break. Copper Longlegs. I mean, at the end, she's from Theros, and Theros is the, quote, Greek mythology set, right? So the fact that she's a very tragic character makes sense. Like the Synod Dancer, which is the card that I commented at the beginning, I get it so much in the Phyrexian style that whenever I see it in the normal style, I'm like, what is this card? This is like a rare version. No, this is the normal. However, the normal seems to be more uncommon than the Phyrexian art version. Hazardous Blast. Troller Drake. Nice. Cephalophoid Century, which we got in foil. Very nice. Paladin of Predation. 5 and 2 green. Creature Phyrexian Knight. Toxic 6. And Paladin of Predation can be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. The strategies and politics of the Vicious Swarm are as subtle as Vernix himself. Now, the card that's coming next, we already saw the corner of it. I think I know what card it is, because that was the first pack that I opened from the pre-release that I did. Let me see. Yes, it is, baby! Yeah! I mean, amazing. Imagine I have, it's been years since I've been to a Prerelease. So I went to a Prerelease with a friend, and there is only one card that I want from, I mean, not only one card, but there is one card that I really want from this set, and it's Norn. It's not this version, but it's another version of Norn. Let's see if we pull it someday. Otherwise, I may just have to buy it. And in the first pack from, I don't remember if it was the pre-release that we bought or because we also bought a bundle. I don't remember which one. I think it was the pre-release. I pulled this Elish Norn, Mother of Machines, the version from, this is the Concept Praetor version. It's amazing. I love it. And we also get a foil, Eye of Malcator, which is nice, but I mean, once you come from Mummy of Machines, there is everything else is like, okay, whatever. And a Swamp, and a Phyrexia Horror. I haven't seen this one that much. Hey, Mummy of Machines, my friend. Actually, the concept cards, I don't know if they ever published them, but I was reading into it because I was always curious about how is it that the artists for Magic the Gathering know what to draw. Like, I have seen that they get some notes, and I read those notes, and those notes are like, dynamic position, sword in hand, and stuff like that. And it's like, it looks like prompts that you give to an AI, to an artificial intelligence, right? So, like, I understand that concept. I get it. It makes sense. But, and that's good because that incentivizes creativity from the artists, which is what we love. Because, I mean, look at this, all the art that we have seen so far. I mean, Magic is like 50% the art on the cards, if not more even. I mean, the gameplay is super important, so I guess that's the other 50%. But ironically, if I say 50% art, 50% gameplay, where is the lore, right? That's the other 20%, but that's 120. That's right. No, I mean, maybe, I mean, I love the lore and I will hope that it will be more important, but we live in a society. So I guess that the way when you're in a pre-release, these are, like, if you open this pack, this is one of the cards that like points you towards like, okay, do a blue-red kind of. They include a bunch of this across the set. The lore is very important. I like it, but it doesn't seem to be a driving force for anyone. So I guess it's like 5% of the game, not even that. Phyrexia Arena. The card is better. I mean, the art and the name is better than the effect. The effect is not that good. It can actually kill you pretty fast, and it's kind of expensive for what it is, but, you know. And a Phyrexia Island and a Phyrexia Might. Overall, I think that, I mean, if I rate like the importance to me, it will be like 40, 20, maybe. Like, because I really like the art and the lore, maybe even above the gameplay. But the gameplay is, I mean, if this was just a collectible card game, I wouldn't care for it as much. If it wasn't a game, I mean, I wouldn't care for it as much. So the gameplay is very important. It's a game after all. And that's what brings people together. So I will say that maybe 20, 20, 40, 40 to the art, 20 to the lore, 40 to the gameplay. Because, I mean, yes, you can play Magic. The gameplay is the most important part. But if you play Magic on paper cards that just have the text on them without any art, it wouldn't hit the same. You know what I mean? It will be like, like Dominoes or something. Like Dominoes is a great game that your grandpa plays, and it's an immortal game. It has been around for so many years because of, you know, it's an old game. It's an immortal game. It's well constructed, but it doesn't have like the greatest art. And now it doesn't count if you say like, oh, there's a limited edition domino set for whatever. It's like, no, you know, the basic one. But with Magic, no, you have like everything multiplies each other. Like the art multiplies the lore multiplies the gameplay. Like, God bless Richard Garfield. Although I don't know if he will agree with the current status of things. I mean, he will agree with one thing though. He said that his ideal vision for Magic will be that every time you play, you see different cards. So against someone else. So I guess we are getting to that point, Mr. Garfield. Congratulations, I guess. Miglos Maze Crusher. One red and one green. Legendary creature, Phyrexian Beast. Miglos Maze Crusher enters the battlefield with 5 oil counters on it. You pay 1, remove an oil counter from Miglos. It gains Vigilance and Menace until the end of turn. You pay 2, you remove 2 oil counters from Miglos. It gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. And 3, you remove 3 oil counters from Miglos. Destroy target artifact with creature. That's why it's so cheap. It's like, oh, it's one red and one green, and it's for 4, and it has a lot of effects. And it's like, yeah, but if you really look at it, it doesn't. You can only use the effect so many times. It has 5 oil counters, so I mean, obviously there are other cards on the set that give you more oil counters, so you can actually exploit these. But you never know. Planar Disruption. No, this is in the story. This is when they get separated again because the Wanderer, the Eternal Wanderer, or the Wanderer Emperor, or whatever she's called, they get pulled back because of Elish Norn. So it says here, like, new Phyrexion's planar defenses scatter the Planeswalkers' strike team on arrival. Elish Norn knew they were coming. So that's why I'm saying that, I mean, Mummy of Machines, always on my team, but also, let's be honest, the Planeswalkers, their plan was very bad, like very, very amateur. Like, oh yeah, we're like 15 dudes. We're going to go there and raid the new Phyrexia thing. It's like, bro, no, you're not. I mean, plus among yourselves are like legendary Planeswalkers and other dudes that are just like whatever. And you get separated and you weren't counting on the defenses or anything. It's like, come on. And because, I mean, a lot of people online, in terms of lore, are giving hit to Jace because it's like, oh, because if he did his work and, because Raska, what's the point? I mean, now both are completed and they can't even care for each other because they're completed, so it doesn't work. And so both died. Nice to be you, I guess. And, which, yes, I guess, but at that point in the story, they were already compromised. So like it was already lost, like whatever. I will appreciate that, the mind sculpture will be smarter, I guess. But it is what it is. Churning Reservoir. Viral Spawning. Create a 3/3 Phyrexian Beast creature token with Toxic 1. Corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters and Viral Spawning is in your graveyard, it has flashback, 2 and 1 green. Nice. And the card for this booster is Tablet of Completion. An artifact for 2. You can tap it and put an oil counter on Tablet of Completion. You can tap it and add 1 colorless. Activate only if Tablet of Completion has 2 or more oil counters on it. And if you pay 1 and tap it, you draw a card. And you can only activate it if you have 5 or more oil counters on it. So, let's be honest, this is a card that is like, at least in my humble opinion, this is good, but only if your entire deck is around oil counters, because you put this baby down for 2, it doesn't do anything. You will be just tapping it, like adding oil counters to it, and then it gives you 1 colorless after 2 turns. She's like, okay, it helps, I guess, but then its true effect only works once, you have 5 or more, which is like, wow. So actually the only, usage that this has is actually, this is an oil counter generator, because there are some cards that say like, oh, move oil counters or proliferate, stuff like that. So it really depends on other cards to actually do its job properly. And Phyrexian Mountain, and again, the Hollow Sentinel. I moved from never seeing it to seeing it every time. Nice. I would like to know the reason, like the consistency for like, okay, Hollow Sentinel, but behind is promo. Why is it that sometimes it's a double-sided token? Why isn't it like all the time? Like, say like, this one is the only one that has been like that. But oh, sorry, I put a land in the wrong stack. But Phyrexian Might, no. Cat, no. Phyrexian Might, no. Promo, which is like whatever. I guess you get one of these for each double token that you get. Rebel, nothing, and Phyrexian Might, nothing. So I don't know. Why do you give me useless cardboard? And why do you give me publicity? You really think that someone is going to buy a draft booster or any booster whatsoever? See, double-sided token. This at least is, I'm complaining about it, I get it. So I guess I should complain about more stuff. You really think that someone is going to buy a draft booster that has a really specific function, unless they buy it like at Walmart or something like that, and maybe they have like sticking around and you can buy it individually or something, which is not the case. The pre-releases, you can only buy them at game stores, but game shops. But, well, maybe you can buy a draft booster box online or something, but you really think someone is going to go through the expense of buying a booster box or a pre-release or something and not know what Magic Arena is? I mean, even if they don't know, trust me, someone in their circle has already told them like, hey, if you want to play Magic during the week and not only the Fridays, let's play on Arena. Or, I don't know, maybe like a Secret Lair. Like, we all know about Secret Lair wizards. The reason why maybe we don't all buy Secret Lair is because it's kind of expensive for a lot of stuff that you put in there. Sometimes you do a good Secret Lair and it's like, getting that one, because the price of the reprints, which you cannot acknowledge publicly, but because you calculate very specifically which cards you put in there, makes sense. So from a financial standpoint, it makes sense. But from a player standpoint, for like the bling bling standpoint, which normally most players that go bling bling are commander players, because we have our commander deck where we keep building and building and building, and we only need one copy of each card. That's the magic of commanders. So that's why it's cheaper. That's why you don't want to acknowledge it as a real format, and just like, hey, it's a casual format, and we sell you decks because we know you love it, but we don't care that much about it. So the only reason why I buy a Secret Lair or something is because I want to bling out my decks, my commander deck, or something like that. That's why I have art proofs or etc. But you release like I remember the constellation or the horoscope lands, and I was like, oh man, sweet. Maybe they get like I can get like 12, one of each, and maybe like a pack of 5 of each, and that would be very expensive. But I was like, no. You have 5 normal, like no foil, of one zodiacal sign for the normal price. It's like, what the fuck? What I do? What am I supposed to do with 5 lands of one type? It's like, I can't bling out my commander deck with that. Like, I will need 20 maybe at the very least. Are you really expecting me to buy X times the Secret Lair? Is like, nope. So what's really the point of it? I don't like. Now they release like the snakes one and stuff, and people commented when it's worth it, it's because of the financial value that it's worth it, but not so much the playable value or because the art is subjective. So it really depends on whether you like it or not. Nim Razor Paladin, creature for Action Knight. I don't think I haven't seen this one much. Maybe there's a reason for it. It doesn't seem to be very good. And Melira, the Living Cure, which is, according to the lore, she is the only one that is immune to the oil. And making that a mechanic is complicated. That's why her mechanic is not that broken. It's basically if you will get one or more poison counters. Instead, you get one poison counter, and you can't get additional poison counters this turn. So she's very cheap. One green and one white, or cheap, quotation marks, and it prevents you from getting more toxic counters, and or poison counters, so that's good. You can exile her and choose another target creature or artifact. When it's put into the graveyard this turn, return that card to the battlefield under its own control. So she's a paramedic, pretty much. That's the whole mechanic for her. And oh nice, and a second rare, a Archfiend of the Dross, 2 and 2 black. Creature, Phyrexia Demon. Flying. Archfiend of the Dross enters the battlefield with 4 oil counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from Archfiend of the Dross. Then, if it has no oil counters on it, you lose the game. Bam, 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 bam. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, controller loses 2 life. So it's very black, very black card. It's like high stakes, very ambitious. It's kind of cheap, like 2 and 2 black for a 6/6 with flying. But then you have 4 turns to win, or you better inject it with oil counters or proliferate the hell out of it. Because, yep. And a forest and a poison counter. That is a Phyrexian Might on the other side. The weird Phyrexian Mights, not the standard ones. And that was the Prerelease set. Now, what would you do with a Prerelease like this? Well, the promos were nice. You can't use them. I mean, if you're playing 100% red, maybe you can try to pull this one, I guess. But the Jailer, I see that you could pull the Jailer in any deck, maybe, because, it's very good as an anti-black measurement and stuff like that. Obviously, the greatest pull, I don't even need to check the prices or anything. I don't care about that much. I just care about the lore. She is the greatest pull of this Prerelease. You could put her in a Prerelease deck if you play mono white, or at least go heavily on white. Some of the other cards here are very nice, but then again, if you check the insert, you know that Elish Norn is 4 and 1 white, so it literally means that she is a 5. So you should only have like 2 to 4. So yeah, she and maybe the Archfiend of the Dross if you're playing black-white, maybe, but that's not a very good combination for this Prerelease, mostly. If you are like me and you just buy them because they are cheaper now because the Prerelease has already happened, right? So it's cheap to buy these. The stores just have them lying around. You can just buy them and play a draft Prerelease with your friends, or you can just play draft because they are draft boosters after all, and you're just getting an extra promo and some dice, sorry, right? So that's pretty much it. This has been Packs and Recreation. I hope you had a nice time and a very relaxing time. Happy to hear any feedback on how these things are going, and see you next time. Have a nice day. Bye bye.